tone, put on your smile, it sets the tone. Today we speak, inspire, reflect on how small acts have vast effect. A ripple starts with just one hand and spreads across both sea and land. Your unnecessary actions can be looked at as distractions. Let them stay behind the scene. For a moment, turn off the screen. If you don't want your face in recording to show, it will be no problem. You just let us know. Be ready for impromptu speaking. Today, Lynn will do the picking. Dear guests, it might be you asked to comment impromptu. Time to start. You've taken places. What joy to see your smiling faces. Now let the ripples reach their crest as voices rise and hearts invest. As every voyage needs a steady hand, welcome Captain Vicky now takes command.
Thank you very much. Captain is a good one. Queen, Captain. I am part of Zonta International, which is an international women's organization, and I'm running for Lieutenant Governor, or as I like to say, Lieutenant Governor. So I will now be a governor, and John will refer to me as that at home. And I welcome you all to the meeting. It's so good to see you all. I have to tell you, I so look forward to our Friday meetings. They're always good. They're always powerful. And I just want to welcome Kristen to her first official meeting. We share a love of Rwanda, and maybe during table topics, she'll be able to weave that in a little bit. And everyone else is a member. And Mike, welcome to your first official meeting. So glad to have you here. And you're an evaluator for John White. Bring it. Bring it. Now, we have an educational moment that I'd like to say as president on behalf of our VPE, Dr. Gwendolyn Abington. And here's what she wrote. Have you ever thought of pathways as a gift? Yes, the gift of feedback and its ripple effect will reverberate in our personal and professional lives. As members of the Masters of Evaluation Club, we understand better than most that feedback is more than an opinion. It is a gift. Pathways, our Toastmasters learning experience, is designed with that gift at its core. Every level, every project, and every evaluation we give or receive helps us grow not just as speakers, but as leaders, communicators, and human beings. In Pathways, we don't just check off speeches. We experiment, we refine, we stretch into new areas of learning. And each time we step up, someone invests their time in this room to listen deeply, to notice what worked, and to share what might make us even better next time. Pathways is a gift worth opening. Pathways gives us many gems to treasure. I want to share 4 gems for us to think about as we work through our pathway journey this Toastmasters year. Number 1, Pathways projects provide us with practical skills such as leadership skills, team collaboration, and real-world communication skills. Pathways is a pipeline to personal growth because members can choose a track aligned with their personal and professional growth goals. Feedback-driven learning is a tenet behind every speech and project because it includes evaluations, turning constructive feedback into actionable steps for the member. And skills learned in Pathways transfers beyond Toastmasters, empowering members in their careers, communities, and their personal lives. Are you ready? Let's cast our Pathways educational stones across Masters of Evaluation waters this Toastmasters year to achieve Smedley Distinguished. Thank you very much, Dr. Gwendolyn. Excellent message. And today, I would like to now turn the meeting over to myself as president, because, that's what I get to do. And I want to welcome you all to the meeting, and I want you to think about something. Imagine a single drop of water falling into a still pond. It's small, almost insignificant on its own. But watch as it creates ripples, spreading outward, touching every corner of the surface. That's the power of one voice, one action, one moment of courage. You alone may not change the entire world, but you can create ripples. A kind word, a bold idea, or a thoughtful evaluation can inspire others to act, to dream, to believe. And when those ripples meet others, they grow into waves of change. So don't underestimate the power you hold. Speak up, take action, evaluate with care, because even the smallest ripple can spark a movement, and together we can create a tide that transforms the world. Be the drop, create the ripples, and with that, let's begin our wonderful meeting. All righty. My next role is to introduce the functionaries, and I'd like to start with our Zoom master, Ms. Sandra Savage.
I'm going to do the best to spotlight you today. If you're a speaker, evaluator, SNAP evaluation responder, or evaluator, I will try to focus the camera on you. Also, please forgive me ahead of time that if you're caught with your microphone open and we're hearing background noises, I will go ahead and mute you. So just keep an eye on your icon to see if you're muted or not. But I want to make sure that we hear the speaker of the moment loud and clear. Back to you, Vicki.
Wonderful reminders. Thank you, Sandra. Next, I'd like to introduce our GE, General Evaluator, Ray Sweeney.
Thank you, Vicki, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. It's a pleasure to be your General Evaluator this evening. So what does the role entail? Okay, well, it starts from the moment that you accept the role, which was 2 weeks ago. So I'm encouraged to monitor what's going on, the interactions between the members, how they're working. Is the WhatsApp functioning? Are we staying in contact? Is it positive? What can we do better? And the same with our meeting. How can it be sharper? How can we improve? Are the handovers, the changeovers in place? Do we keep the flow of the meeting, or how can we be better? So to collate that report, I'll take lots of notes throughout. And any of you shining stars that light up the screen today, I'll make a note of it and deliver the results at the end. Back to you, Vicki.
Shiny stars that light up the screen. Love the image. And now our grammarian, counter, and word of the day master, Tamara Evans. What word do you want to reverberate throughout this meeting?
As grammarian, I'll tune my ear for phrases bright and crystal clear, metaphors that shape the mind, similes uniquely designed. Each vivid phrase, each verbal flower can charm, inspire, and empower. So speak with style, let language play. I'll count the gems you toss my way. The word of the day is reverberate, which means to echo repeatedly or deeply, to ripple outward. That's what it means. I already put the word and the meaning in the chat. And I'll give an example in a sentence. The consequences of their decision still reverberate through the community today. So please use this word today.
Thank you, Tamara. Your messages, your poems. I'm thinking, Sandra, we should kind of record these and put them in a booklet. They're so good. I mean, someone could take those and use them and be really honored, Tamara. So thank you very much.
And she can also use those for her social speeches. So if any of you want to work on a social speech, tap Tamara for an opportunity to give the opening.
Good idea. All right, now I'd like to turn to our timer, Venice Rowe. Venice, what is your role today?
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. My name is Venice, and I'm all the way from the UK. We have rippled over time, and we are here to have fun. But I know that time can run away from us. So what I will do, just so that you can see me, is to raise my hand. Not because I want to have a table topic, but just so that you can see me. Our meetings in the agenda is split in time. For a prepared speech is 5 to 10 to 7 minutes. And you will see my background. I will change it so that you can see. I will start with time. And when it gets to the minimum time of 5 minutes, I will change to green. And it's like a traffic lights because it's keeping time. When you get to the 6 minutes, you will see the amber light. And when we get to the 7 minutes, it will be red. You have 30 seconds to wrap up. Other times you will see on the agenda, and the times will change accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Venice. Wonderful explanation. And now I'd like to turn to, we're going to start with our first speech. Oh my God, we're ahead of time. Hold me down. I'm shocked, but I'm happy. I always make a deal about the time. I always say better never than late, not better late than never. And we need to be on time. So far, so good. And now I'd like to introduce our first speaker, our newest member, Mike. What is your job today for our first speaker?
Hello, everybody. My name is Mike. I'm the speech evaluator of today's first speaker, John White. John is working on the Engaging Humor Pathways and Level 3 elective project, Connect with Storytelling. The speech is 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of the project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. And he also welcomes any feedback regarding the pace of the speech and the emotional impact. Because it's engaging humor pathways, I hope the humor can reverberate throughout the speech and create ripples in our heart. Back to Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Woo! Well done, Mike. All right, now I'd like to introduce our speaker today. Today, John will give a speech he gave at an international speech contest many years ago. While John has given many speeches only once and moved on to the next, there are others that he feels are worthy of holding on to and retelling over the years. John is interested to see how time may have changed him and his speech, and whether the message of this particular speech still resonates with the audience. Please help me in welcoming John White and his speech titled, When White Ain't Right. John White.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. I had attended First African Methodist Episcopal Church, also known as First AME, several times in the past, and I had had a good time. I really had. But this Sunday in 1998 was different. You see, on previous visits, I had sat with the congregation. This time, I was on stage in front of the entire congregation. And as I stared out into that intimidating space, I felt the crushing weight of absolute silence and intense stares. It felt as if 1,000 eyeballs were pressing firmly on my chest. I became very uncomfortable. I started sweating profusely. My muscles tightened until they ached, and I said to myself, they don't like me. They don't like me. Madam Toastmaster, Master of Evaluators, guests, allow me to formally introduce myself. My name is Jonathan Douglas White, but many, too many, simply refer to me as Mr. White. I think as you look at this face, we can all agree it doesn't get much whiter than this, does it? Now, ironically, for much of my life, I didn't give one thought whatsoever to my racial identity. I was white, and everything was all right. 30 years ago, that changed. What happened? I met a girl. Isn't that always the storyline? Michelle was beautiful. She was funny. She responded to my jokes. So she was smart. The chemistry between us was of pure love. Her skin was so beautiful. It was black and mine was white. And I'd soon find out everything was no longer all right. Within the first month of us dating, we were at a public space. It was a shopping center. And across the way, there were two black ladies having a grand old time until they saw me and Michelle. They froze in their tracks and shot us a stare. Would you look at that? She's messing with a white boy? Oh, no, she didn't. To be fair, it wasn't just the black ladies. At one point or another, our dating seemed to upset the entire Rainbow Coalition. And they weren't subtle. They let us know whether it was confused stares, hostile glares, just the mean, disrespectful things that they would say. And I've got to be honest with you, I didn't handle it well. It was all new to me. In my mind, it was unfair. Ostracized by black folks and white folks alike. For what? For pursuing what we all want, to love and to be accepted. And hadn't Michelle already received enough of this treatment as a black woman? Ironically, it was Michelle who tried to make it better for me because it was all new to me. She'd say to me, babe, don't pay them no mind. They're just tripping. That's what she said. Well, I knew this. I wasn't tripping. Michelle was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. And in 1995, we were married. That's right, ladies. I listened to Beyonce. I put a ring on it. And a couple of years later, we were putting diapers on it as we introduced our first child, Austin. That Sunday at First AME, we were at Austin's baptism. The pastor introduced us individually to the audience. My name went first. He said, Jonathan D. White. What I heard was my last name reverberating throughout the church. White, white, he's white. It sounded like an accusation more than a last name. Michelle's maiden name of Bratcher proved to be a problem. Michelle B. White. All I heard reverberating was, be white, be white, be white. This was not going well. Mercifully, they introduced Austin, and by his full name, Austin Coltrane White. Michelle and I went down to pick up Austin. You should have seen his caramel-colored skin. It was flawless. He was literally our golden child. And when we went to present him to the congregation, do you know what we heard? Do you? Oh, girl, he is so cute. He looks just like his mother. Praise Jesus. Praise him. And then suddenly out of nowhere, as if it choreographed, the congregation rose as one and broke into a thunderous applause that lasted 2 to 3 minutes. Brothers and sisters of this congregation, I got a confession to make. I arrived at church that day a broken and hopeless man. I lost hope that one day, just one day, society would accept our relationship. The glares, the stares, the things they said behind our backs, the things they said to us directly had beaten me down. But as the congregation continued to applaud, I felt myself breathing easier. I felt myself relaxing. And for the first time, I allowed myself to see individual faces in the audience. Faces that were smiling, faces that were crying, faces of some black men who looked me in the eye and gave me their acceptance. I got to testify. In that moment, I was transformed. The love and acceptance that I had been looking for years was right in front of me. How long had it been there? I make a confession. I don't recall the message of that sermon that day, but I remember the lesson that I took, and I share it with you today. The racial, religious, and cultural differences that can divide us, that often divide us, that are currently divide us, they can be overcome. You know how? They can be overcome by love and acceptance. What a feeling. Our family stood in front of that entire congregation, basking in their warm embrace, lifted by the love. Yes! Finally, yes! And yes, Michelle's still black and I'm still white. And the possibility existed that everything could be right again. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, John. Beautiful speech. Madam Timer, may we have 1 minute? Please provide feedback to John White on what you loved and what he could do even better. Thank you, Venice. And now, after that really inspiring speech, we're going to move on to table topics with our table topics master, Lynn Gilbert. Lynn, you are up.
I'm very happy to be table topic master because I love doing this. And also I find this such an incredibly intelligent group that I know that we're going to have good answers. Now, one of the things that I'd like to share with you is that you shouldn't feel uncomfortable. What my goal is to have answers that will illuminate not only who you are, but create a possibility of your sharing very personal things to change other people's lives. It will not challenge you in the way that you're going to feel threatened. And the other thing that I find is that when you talk, if you can't answer the question, jiggle it around and answer. Because there are many times you're going to be in a situation where you're asked a question, you can't answer it. So answer whatever you can in the best way that you can. So here's and it actually reflects what Tamara said about reverberate. Here is the questions. It's about family influence, whether we make intentional or passive choices. And that really reverberates throughout our lives. It not only reverberates, it ripples every day of our life. So let me start with one question. What values or principles did your family explicitly teach you that still guide your decisions today? And I have to pick somebody who is not let's see, who's new? I'm sorry, this is new for me about picking people. Okay, Trudy, would you share with us that answer?
Yes, I will share that answer. We reverberated very well because I was thinking, yeah, I think she should choose me
Good.
to give you that answer. Just thinking back on the speech that I just heard, and just thinking back about myself in a mixed marriage, just like John and Michelle, with a beautiful lad that he presented to all of us. I come from a mixed home, from a black home, but when you say black of different colors. And it has to do with the background. I come from the Caribbean, with the family background is so mixed. So within the brothers and sisters, we are also all mixed. Nobody is one color. And that has been really beautiful for me because through my family, I learned to be very, very strong and not to think what other people think of you. The family is a unit together, and we can go out in the world and be very proud of ourselves, and we can share with others our lives, our home life and family life, etc. Now, I traveled away to the Netherlands, and I traveled away to Canada. When I was leaving, my mother especially was very, very concerned. I lost my father when when I was in the Netherlands. So it was very difficult for her to say, well, you're going to Canada. This is what, you should think about. She's never been here. So she was kind of concerned. So my lesson learned was be proud, share of yourself, do never be ashamed, because in North America, people don't like black. She's never been here. She doesn't know. And it's not true at all. It depends where you are, So it made me very strong when I was coming to remember those words. And with those words, I continue my life here, and I met all different kinds of men of different colors. And the one I end up with is a white man. And he has been very good to me. And he knows no color. And that's not a true thing when somebody says, you do not know color. You do, but it doesn't make a difference. It does not reverberate in so many different ways. So we are strong people together. People love us in the community. I don't feel myself being a black woman and I have to withhold from situation, but neither does he feel he has to withhold. And within the family, we are a strong unit here. We are an example within the community. I must say that. I was once asked, how do you guys make it out, and how many years are you married together? I'm over 40 years married to him, and he to me, of course. And I said, it's a matter of understanding, sharing with each other, and loving each other, and taking time for yourself, and he taking time for yourself. There's many recipes to a good mixed marriage also. Because you do experience things, but because of the strength within yourself and your background, you are able to survive and be very good within the community and share with others. So thank you very much for asking this question. And I hope I reverberated what I needed to say. When our love drops in the water, it spreads and ripples to the edge, and it doesn't form waves back to you. Back to you.
What a wonderful answer. It's just illuminating. It, reinforces what John said, and it shows the strength of this group, the individuality, and the moving within a society that isn't always accepting. And it makes you pillars of society. Now, the next question is, rather than give the question, I'm going to ask somebody,
Excuse me. Lynn, we do snap evaluations where you call on someone to give an evaluation in 1 minute of what they just heard.
say that again.
So what we do is what's called a snap evaluation. We give a 1 minute evaluation.
Oh.
So it's a snap. It's like that. So let me show you how to do it. I'll do it for Trudy.
Okay, great.
Trudy, wonderful job. Beautiful message. Well crafted, and told us so much about you. I did not know all these things. Now, to make this even better, watch your time. I think you were about 2 minutes over. And one of the keys of a table topic is saying something quickly. And here's what I heard. You were done. And then you started again. Mm-hmm. You had what are called multiple closes. Mm-hmm. It's almost as if when somebody says something and they say, in conclusion, they give their conclusion, and then they give another conclusion. You had multiple messages, and there were so many times you could have closed it, but thank you for that message. And just watch your timing. I don't know if you heard the sound that Sandra made. There was this, I know you didn't hear it. And so she's going to use her background changes also so we can hear it. So just watch the message, and I would love to hear a total speech from you on this.
Fine.
Master.
Good.
I have a question. Am I supposed to do the snap evaluation, or
no? You call on someone.
Oh, okay, great.
And they don't know, and you would and you can call on anyone for that. You're using table topics to call on people that we're not hearing from. But snap, just say, John White, would you like to give a snap evaluation? And John will say, of course. And that causes us all to be listening all the time.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Okay, next question. I'm going to ask Pamela Brody. Can you think of a time when you deliberately chose to follow or reject family advice?
Well, since we're on the topic of interracial relationships, I guess that's the best one to choose. What wonderful shares that we've had. I grew up in a very traditional Jewish family. My sister married someone who wasn't Jewish. You would have thought it was seriously like the jazz singer, the death had come. My parents, I remember when I was 12 years old and they picked me up from a softball practice. My sister had eloped and I thought someone died. I opened up the car seat, I got in, and everybody was they were crying. My parents wouldn't say anything. And I was, what happened? Sherry got married. And I was a minister's son. So I was always the good girl. I always wanted to please. I wanted to marry a nice Jewish boy and do the right thing. But I also had this feeling like when my dad would watch basketball games and he'd yell out at the guys playing basketball, like, hey, Schwarza, hurry up, which is not a nice term for a Black person. And that really bothered me. Like, it really bothered me. And I'd always be like, Dad, stop. Now, my dad had his own experience of being bullied in Cincinnati. So that was his own, ideas. But I was always like, you know what? It's about being with somebody spiritual. And so for a time, I was at the Kabbalah Center and I met Desire. I know. Seriously, Desire. I mean, come on. 6'2". He was Madonna's bodyguard. Chocolate skin. I mean, please. The world, it was like an explosion when I met him. And he was spiritual. And I thought, hey, this'll show him. I'm going to get myself a nice spiritual Black man. And I always wanted to have little Black babies. Unfortunately for me, actually, I want to comment on the feeling that John described because I experienced it when I walked in the farmer's market with him. And I know exactly what you're talking about. The way people looked at you and the glances and the glares. And when my parents found out that I was dating Desire, it actually wasn't because of his race. That's part of my one-woman show. He happened to be living in a van. And that's a whole nother story. And I didn't know that he was actually a spiritual kind of homeless situation. It's a long story. So I'll say it wasn't really about race. But for me, it was showing my parents that you could go beyond. Now, the truth is, in Israel, there's no color. Everybody is Black and white, and there's lots of Jewish people that are Black. But I didn't choose necessarily the right one. So to wrap up, this is really more of a speech than a table topic, and I don't really know where the light is. I think I'm over time. So I definitely freaked my parents out, but I decided that I was choosing what I thought was right.
Pamela, I'm going to stop you. I thought it was fantastic and you were inspired by everybody, but we're going to have to stick to time. And so in the future, these are loaded questions that it seems like you're all happy to open up and answer, but you're going to have to watch Sandra with the time. And I'm delighted that you felt comfortable enough to share.
I'm sorry, I can't tell the time. I saw the yellow and the green, but it's hard to. Could ever people see the time?
No.
Is that red, Sandra? Okay, sorry. I wasn't sure if that was because when you're in it, you're like, I wasn't sure if that was your back. Sorry.
Don't worry. We're going to try and get on track, and I'm going to try and do the Snapchat now. Now, I would like to have Tamara, would you do a Snapchat for a minute on Pamela's talk?
I will with pleasure. It was such an emotional, powerful, and personal comment. With great voice variety. When you showed different people with their voices, it reverberated. The voices reverberated in my heart. And your comment was connected with the main speech. It was connected with what other people said. So it shows that you listened carefully and could incorporate what you had into the speech of your own. Somehow you made it so that it touched our hearts. It was great. The structure was great, even though in the beginning you kind of didn't know what you were thinking. But later you compensate for everything. Thank you very much. It was great.
And your analysis is wonderful. Now we're all on a roll. I have to tell you, this is very exciting. I don't know what it's been like before, but this is very revealing. So the next question is for Michael S. Michael S., okay, when making major decisions, whose voice from your family do you hear in your head?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, for a terrific question. Gotta be dad. Gotta be dad. And those things that he said are still reverberating for me, and lots of times they're the things that I ignore. For example, I remember when he sat me down, he was going to tell me about women, and he said, son, make sure whatever you do not marry a woman who paints her toenails. And I nodded very seriously. He said, this is something that shows that she's got too much time to be at home eating bonbons and chocolate and just wasting the day away instead of doing things that wives should. That was about the most retro kind of position he ever held. He was actually fairly progressive. And I have to say, I've been married for 50 days now, and Jeanette paints her toenails regularly. And I have to say, she's one of the hardest working people I know. So thanks, Dad, but no thanks. Madam Tabletop's.
That's wonderful. Okay, Snapchat, I'm going to ask Kirsten, would you evaluate that talk?
Yes, thank you. I'm glad I get to be the one to evaluate it because it was so good. It was concise. It had energy. Michael, you were gripping to both watch and listen to. I think I loved the twist the most because it started with a what seemed like a typical, oh, listen to dad, and then twisted around to I listen to him, but I actually ignore him. And I love that. And I love that you brought in your wife as well. That personal element really helped shape the storyline. So overall, incredibly concise, quick, had a theme, had a beginning, middle, and end. Beautiful work.
Fabulous. Nice and clean, your response also. Now, the next question is for Gisela. Gisela, okay, what family traditions or practices do you intentionally continue or break?
That's quite an interesting question. I'm taking a bit by surprise. I have to really think about that one.
Well, let me help you. If you're not comfortable with that, go sidestep it. Just answer something about what you do that might not be intentionally break, but what is a tradition that's important to you?
One tradition that is very important for me as a Christian, and that's something that I learned from my grandparents because I've mostly been raised by them, That's the importance of giving. My grandmother became an entrepreneur in apartments and buildings. And as a little child, and for me that was very important, you know what she did is when we had tenants that couldn't pay, for instance, my grandparents would say to these people, they would analyze the situation and they would say, look, you don't have to pay the rent for 2, 3, 4 months. If people were sick, they were doing the shopping, they were doing the cooking, and me as a little kid, I went with them giving the food and the dinners to these people. And they always said to me, it's better that you can give than that you have to receive. And that has been a tradition in my own life. As an adult, I have always given a part of my time and my money to charities, different types of charities that I really like and love. And that's something extremely important for me. And it makes, and I feel a lot of gratitude by doing that.
It's a wonderful, it's very moving, and I'm very grateful that you've continued on and picked something that you were comfortable with, but it's also illuminating for all of us. So I'm going to ask, let's see, John White, would you do an evaluation of Gisela?
I would love to. Well, first of all, Gisela, great recovery. I know that feeling of not just where do I go? And it's hard to recover from not having a quick response. I love the message about giving. And I know you were limited in time, but it just released a whole bunch of thoughts about consumerism and our rapacious appetite for money and power and things of that sort. So I was nice to hear a story about not being concerned about yourself, you not being the center of the universe, and it's about giving to others. So I love that message, and maybe more feelings about how it made you feel when you did that, how good it was, and how that's powered you to continue to have that practice. But I loved it. Thank you very much.
And I loved your response. I think all the answers and also the evaluations are absolutely wonderful. They're spot on and they're enriching. Okay, now the next question, Vicki, I know that you're a leader of the group, but I'm going to ask you a question. What habits or preferences do you have that you never questioned until you noticed they mirror your family's?
Thank you, Lynn. All these questions draw me back to my mother. And the habit that I have that my mother had was taking care of herself. My mother was a beautiful woman. She was 24. No, she wasn't. She was 34, 24, 36. Beautiful figure. Had no idea of her personal beauty. But she had a very strong sense of looking her best every day. Both my parents worked. I was a latchkey kid, meaning my parents worked all day and they came home at night. And every day my mother would get ready to go to work. She was a professional in an organization. And she'd wear her pencil skirt, her shirts, makeup, hair. And in the morning, after I became a teenager and I'd get ready for school, we'd be in the bathroom together. The air would be blue with smoke from her cigarette. She'd have her cup of coffee. And she was so tired. In fact, there was an expression she'd use. I'd say, "How are you, Mom?" She goes, "Tired, tired, 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 tired." And she always was. And in the morning, she'd have some bags under her eyes, but she'd be getting ready for work. And I would look at her in the mirror, as you do when you're talking to someone, and I'd say, "Mom, why do you do this every day?" And she stopped and she looked at me and she said, "Vic, today could be the most important day of my life and I have to be ready." And that stuck with me. And so every day, regardless of how I feel, I get ready because today could be the most important day of my life and I am ready. Madam Table Topics Master.
Oh, it's wonderful. Okay. Ray, would you evaluate that talk?
For sure I will, Lynn. Thank you very much. And Vicky, thank you for your impromptu speech there. It was really ticked all the boxes. If we look at a table topic and we break it down, the opening, the body, the conclusion, you hit the stage, you told us about your mother's habit, how she was in great shape, and you gave us a quick description to set up the story. You then told us the points that you learned, that you was a latchkey kid, and these trigger thoughts in our mind. Okay, so we can set the scene. It was descriptive, the blue smoke. Tired, tired, tired. And it all led up to the big takeaway that we're waiting for at the end, that you always have to be ready. And you closed quickly within the time frame. That's how to do a table topic. Back to you, Lynn.
Fantastic. Actually, the answers are getting better and better, and the snap answers are very precise also. So it's very crisp today. Okay. Now, the next person that I'm going to ask is Mike. Okay, what habits or preferences do you have that, oh, wait a minute, here. How might your communication style reflect patterns you absorbed growing up?
Well, thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Well, that's a really great question. And I've been actually thinking about it for the past many years. I'm gonna try to be blunt here. I don't think I have very great parents. And when I grew up, there was quite a bit of yelling and fighting in the room. And I didn't really grow up, after observing my parents, I didn't really have good communication skills. And then I noticed that when I communicated or when I tried to develop a relationship with other people, like my classmates, my teachers in the school, I realized I couldn't really maintain good relationship with them. I always get frustrated. I would, yell at them, but, as you can see, it didn't work very well. So when I entered my adulthood, I realized I had to change. I had to get rid of a lot of the stuff I had sort of inherited from my parents in terms of communication. They've got other great influence on me, but not in terms of communication. I had to change. I had to learn. I had to have, great role models. And then, guess what? I joined Toastmasters. And in Toastmasters, I've seen great speakers, I've seen great communicators, and I've had great mentors in the past that really helped me to undo a lot of the little tricks and deal with my emotions a little bit better. And also, at the same time, working with people who have different opinions. So for the past decade or so, I've been working on it. Thanks for that question. And I think I've come a long way, and there's still a long way to go. But I'm in this journey. I think probably everybody's on this journey, and we're in this together. Back to you.
I feel weepy when I hear these amazing answers, and congratulations for what you're doing. So, okay, next, let's see. For a SNAP evaluation, Sandra, this is a small group, so we're going to double up, and this is a long 40 minutes. So, Sandra, you're in charge of giving him a SNAP answer.
I'll do my best, and time as well. I resonated. Mike's message reverberated a lot with me, and so I could feel the emotions as he was telling the story. And I don't even think you have to be in the same place as Mike to understand how your communication is affected not only by example, but also by how you live your life. And he went, after just a little bit of stall, he went right into it and told us something blunt. He prepared us, which was great. I was expecting a whole lot worse, actually, when you prefaced it that way. But it was very heartwarming. And welcome to Masters of Evaluation. Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. Okay. Okay, next question is I'm going to ask, Kristen, did I ask you a question? Did I ask you one? No, okay. Kristen, what assumptions about relationships, work, or success do you carry that originated in your family environment?
So, what assumptions about relationship?
Okay, what assumptions about relationships, work, or success do you carry that originated in your family environment?
And just to remind, how long is the table topic? Is it 2 minutes?
2 minutes, but you don't, okay, you can do whatever you're comfortable doing. If you can give us a minute, that would be good also.
Okay, yeah. No problem. Thank you. Success is an interesting word. Really, when I think of success, it comes from succession, which is one thing leading to the next, leading to the next, leading to the next. And I got this concept from my mother. I was a perfectionist child. I always wanted to please her. But that really didn't come from pressure from her to be a successful kid or a successful adult. She taught me that success came from my evolution. That one thing would lead to the next, to the next, to the next. Until one day, whatever those lily pads were, would make me the person I would become. So my definition for success was never about, did I have a certain job, or did I end up marrying somebody and having kids, or did it have to look a certain way? It meant that I could become whoever I was. So really success was whatever that was truly me. And she lived that way too. She traveled around the world when housewives at that time didn't leave their hometowns. And so now I travel the world helping others with my nonprofit teaching meditation. I never would have known that when I was a child, that would what I was going to be. That was never my picture of success. But I know now, after she's been gone 20 years, that I would have made her proud because I became whatever it was that I was.
It's a brilliant, oh my God, I picked the right person. Okay, now I need somebody to evaluate her. Trudy, would you evaluate Kristen? You're muted. You're muted.
Yes, I will evaluate Christian
Right.
with her teaching of meditation. That is the thing, the last part that gripped me when she said that is her success in sharing with others. But she thought about her mother. She set the stage about her mother and about her family. Success is an evolution and how she looked at success herself. But her life actually surrounded what she can give to others, coming out of her family and how she became successful in sharing part of her life through her teaching. And to be very brief, that's how I see it.
Wonderful. Okay, the next question is, wait a minute. Okay. All right, now I'm going to ask you things. These are basic to your life. The next question is for who didn't have anything. Ray, did I ask you a question yet?
Yeah, you did, but I know David and Mary haven't had one yet, so
Okay,
maybe.
okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. Because I don't see you in real, I see just a little picture. I'm so sorry, Mary. I'm going to ask you questions about intentional or passive choices in life that don't resonate about family, but resonate with you as an individual. Do you plan your days or let them unfold naturally?
Madam Table Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters, each day I plan my day because I want each day to matter in my life. The things that I feel, the causes that I believe in, and the organizations which I care to communicate and be a part of requires planning of each day. I strive to live each day thinking it may be my last day. And I want to think that I have not only planned the day, but also make each day worthwhile with my contributions to the causes and beliefs that I hold dear. Thank you for that question, Madam Table Topic Master.
And now I'd like to ask Pamela, would you review her answer?
Thought you were going to call on me. Now I get a chance to redeem my time situation. Mary, I love how you jumped right in. Unfortunately, we couldn't see your face, but we could definitely hear your words and how you shared with us your value and answered the question to the point. I would have really loved if you gave us a little bit more of an example, just a little bit more of a window to what your days are like or how you view that. Just a little short example, and then have that structure where you set us up with how that looks and then talk about, how important it is, and then the closing. We would have liked to have a little bit more, but it was lovely and heartfelt. So thank you very much.
The terrific answer. Okay, next question is David. I'm sorry I didn't ask you before, but I don't see you. I just see black with the name, so my apologies. When you have free time, do you decide what to do, or do you just see what happens? Are you there?
Yes, indeed I am.
Okay.
Madam Topics Master, ladies and gentlemen, I was just considering for a moment. At my age, I never rush things. Indeed, I've never rushed things ever in my life. Perhaps that, looking back, that comes from my father more than my mother. I think my father never rushed things, but he was rather more successful. He did plan ahead, and he set about achieving things in small ways that were very different from his upbringing. He was born and brought up and went to school in a suburban town, and everyone then went in the army if they were men, and then maybe saw action, maybe not. My father didn't quite see action. He was in Burma, or Myanmar as it's known now. So he was just saved by the atomic bombs. So he came home and went into business. And he never rushed things, but he always kept a job and was able to take us on holiday. But he married a dynamic woman, but a rather uncontrollable woman in the best sense. And she had always wanted to move to the countryside. And there was my dad, a good suburban man, And he went out to the countryside as well. And this was very exciting for him. And looking back, it was a huge change for him. He would drive off to work and work long hours. But in the evenings, particularly in the summer, he would go out and plant his vegetables.
David,
And
I'm going to, I hope, I don't want to be rude, but I'm going to stop you for time so that
yeah, sure.
there are a number of other questions left. So do you want to wrap up so that you give a summary sentence?
Yes, I'll be very brief. And so my father did change his life and lived very differently. And I think that influenced my life, that I've been able to change my life 3 times in major ways and continued with determination ahead. And now through Toastmasters and particularly Masters of Evaluation, that Friday, and of course it's the evening here,
David,
it's always a treat to come here.
I'm going to stop
So
you.
I shall finish there.
I'm stopping you. I hope you don't mind. It was a...
No, I've finished now.
Okay. I'm going to have Venice, would you evaluate his talk? Venice?
I believe she had to leave for an emergency.
Oh, okay. All right. Tamara, I'm going to ask you to evaluate what he said.
I liked the pace David was talking with. Every sentence reverberated and made an imprint in our mind and soul. Interesting expression that his father met a dynamic and uncontrollable woman in a good sense. And then it was easy for me to relate to changing life in major ways, because I grew up in a big city in the capital of Ukraine, and now I live, you can call it a countryside, having the opportunity to grow things. And it's interesting and exciting and enriching to be able to change life and to learn many things which you had no chance to learn before. And so David allowed us to have a glimpse of his whole life and showed how he developed the traditions learned in his family. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, now the next question, and because I'm going to have to repeat.
Lynn, this
Yeah.
will be the last one.
Oh, okay. I've been watching time and I guess, okay. The last question I'm going to ask Mike, because I thought that you made a very moving speech about where you came from and how you have changed your life. How do you think that people should have a clear vision of where they want to go in life?
Thanks, Madam Table Topics Master. I thought we're done for table topics, but okay, I've got a bonus question. The answer is yes. We do need to know the vision of our life in order to move forward so that we can channel our energy to the things that can eventually help us get there. If we don't know what we want to do, we just get drifted by life and by the different other things and just, get sidetracked. And eventually when we're lying in our bed and waiting for a final moment, we may think about to ourselves and we may not be very, feel much like we've accomplished something or we've, been to or fulfill our full potential or whatever. So the brief answer is yes, but to get there, we do need to actually know where we're going. We might need to experiment a few different things in order to really see how that feels, whether that thing resonates with us or with us. and pick the right direction. So it's a long journey, and I'm on this journey. And yeah, so I want to save some time, so back to you.
And listen, I hope I didn't go over because I was watching time. Do you want to have a snapshot on
Please.
that?
Yes, please.
Okay, then Mary, would you do a Snapchat on that? Are you there, Mary?
I am here. Unfortunately, I left my phone for just a minute, but what I heard was a clear description of what David, was it David who spoke?
Mike.
A clear description of Mike's philosophy about life and knowing where you should go. And I think he answered the question, which had a beginning, middle, and end. And his thoughts were expressed clearly and concisely. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're done.
We're done. Lynn, let us all come off mute and give Lynn a round of applause. Seriously. Off mute, off mute.
Yes.
Bravo, bravo.
Bravo, bravo.
Stop.
Brava, brava.
All right, everybody back on mute now. Lynn, I have attended a lot of table topics over the years, 22 years. That was one of the best table topic sessions I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to turn the rest of the meeting over to our general evaluator who will take us through the evaluation portion of Masters of Evaluation. Mr. Ray Sweeney, you are up.
Thank you so much, Vicky. First of all, can we get a timer's report? Would that be possible? Who's in control of time at the moment? Is it Dennis or Sandra?
It is me. So for Venice timed the speech, but I don't have that. I started off with our table topics. Trudy at 2 minutes, and Vicky in evaluation 58 seconds. Pamela 3:45, or should I just say everybody made it? Pamela went a little bit long, but that's because I was loading up my flag.
Why don't you put it in chat, Sandra?
I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, so we're doing well for time, are we? Regards the meeting itself? Are we on time? I'll take that as a yes. We're on time and ready to go. Is that right, Sandra?
Correct.
Super duper. Thank you so much. We get to the evaluations for the speech. Now, this will be Mike Zong's evaluation, so invite Mike to the stage to give his evaluation.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests. John, thanks for that story. It's such a powerful story. What I like about your speech, first, your vivid language use. The title says it all. White ain't right. The rhymes, glares, stares, and you also had very descriptive descriptions. 1,000 eyeballs pressed on my chest. I could feel that. And a second thing I like about your speech is you've got this powerful voice variation to just show the emotions. You took us to this emotional sort of a roller coaster, and everything was no longer all right. You had this drop in your voice to show that impact. They don't like me. They don't like me. You repeat it. You slow down. You show the emphasis. I thought that was really effective. To elevate your speech, I had to be really picky, but I finally found two little things. When you're talking about when you got married in 1995, I was ready to celebrate with you, but you went right into the next line. So I thought you could pause a little bit more there to allow me and the audience the opportunity to celebrate with you, and at the same time release some tension built in the previous speech. The second thing is the word congregation. I was confused for a little while about that word, about what that meant. I don't speak English as my first language, and we've got international audience here. So maybe a little bit explanation could just help me understand the context. Now I finally figured out it's probably about the gathering about your marriage. And then coming back to the story, what I really loved about the story is the vulnerability and your courage to share. And thanks for taking us through this emotional journey to find love and acceptance while navigating through the cultural and racial differences. I definitely can relate to that. And so the emotional impact, and that's spot on. I'm a Chinese immigrant in Canada, and I once dated a white girl. And I could still remember the scares and stares from the crowd while we're in public. So thanks, and you had me as an audience member all the way through. So to conclude, you had a vivid language use, you had a powerful voice, and appreciate your vulnerability in the story. And to make and if you could explain some keywords and pause for more impact, your speech will be taken to the next level. And before I end, John, I'd like to say that thank you again for reminding us that beyond our cultural and racial differences, we're all the same. We all want to be loved and accepted. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mike, for that wonderful evaluation. And is that your first evaluation here at the club? Round of applause, everybody. Round of applause, Mike's first evaluation.
Thank you.
Muy bien, as we say in Spain. Very good. Now moving on to our next role and to see how that word of the day, to see if it reverberated around the club this evening. And to explain that to us is Tamara.
It was a pleasure to notice that many people use the word reverberate both in the main speech and in impromptu speaking and even in snap evaluations. Some people even did it several times. It was interesting to collect the gems you were throwing my way, beautiful language figures. In John's speech, it was crushing weight of silence with humorous shade of meaning. Rainbow Coalition, the name reverberated. Then very interesting was this. It seemed to him that he had be white, golden child, the glares and the stares, they rhyme and they alliterate. Basking in their warm embrace. Okay, that was interesting. Thank you for that. And then Mike, as evaluator, also used this, the word reverberate, and also mentioned emotions of a roller coaster and emotional journey. Okay. Trudy used the word reverberate 3 times in her impromptu speech. Interesting expression Tristan used, success comes from succession. Mary, interesting idea to live each day as the last day and to make each day worthwhile by doing some contributions. Everybody was doing their best to share their powerful energy. You all, dear friends, opened your hearts and contributed to the success of today's meeting. And this synergy, which everybody could probably feel, really inspires and uplifts and makes our meetings uncomparable and really memorable. And as a grammarian today, I thank you all for your contributions, for your powerful speeches, either long or short ones, and for the pleasure we all feel in our hearts. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara, for your report. Guys, to give you the overview, the general evaluation of the meeting, how it went, and we've got to look at the topic. The topic was ripples, and how did it help to reverberate throughout the club? Did those ripples carry through, just like the waves behind me on this beach? And were we all positively affected by the choice of title? Now, so often we don't give credit to the person behind the scenes who's doing all that work. Who created that graphic? Can anyone tell me? Raise your hand. Who created that graphic?
Sandra!
Sorry, who?
I'm assuming Sandra.
Exactly. And you'd be assuming right, because she does that all the time off the bat without any credit for it. So let's take ourselves off mute, give her a round of applause for always creating these fantastic graphics.
Sandra!
And all that silent work in the background. So I'm going to tell you what I liked, what I loved. Maybe there's a few little improvements about the meeting, how we can make it a little bit better. Let's start with the WhatsApp chat. Raise your hand if you're not in the WhatsApp chat. Okay, Michael S., Lynn Gilbert, you're missing out, guys. Speak to Vicky after the meeting because there's so much going on in there, right? And I'll tell you what it is. We've got positive encouragement. We've got Toastmaster business that's going on worldwide, the World Championship of Public Speaking. We've got the new members welcoming. We've got birthdays. We've got special days. We've got fun. We've got banter. And all of this brings us together in unity as a club, so we can all turn up to the meeting. We're not strangers online. We're all speaking in this other chat environment as well. So if you haven't got WhatsApp chat, I would advise you get it, because that's where you'll see a lot of positivity in the 2 weeks leading up to a meeting. And that's very important as well, because it's a tool for the Toastmaster to use to build the excitement leading up to a meeting. What else do I love? Well, I love the agenda. It's always filled at the meeting before. There's not many other clubs around the world that do that. They normally have to spend 2 weeks on the WhatsApp getting everybody to fill the roles. But we do it really well. And I'm sure Vicky will give us a great example of how that's going to work this evening. And you'll be flabbergasted. And that's another word for today. So let me explain about Vicky. I mean, she comes on the stage, she gives an overview of pathways and the goals for the club to begin the meeting. Now, for any new member who's never been here before or doesn't know what Toastmasters is or how it works, this is essential information because we're picking it all up from the start. It's positive reinforcement and we understand what's about to happen on screen. She leads into Tamara. Tamara delivered her role in rhyme. Can we give a round of applause for Tamara? She is soon to take over from Eminem. But listen, seriously, doing something in rhyme takes a lot of effort and preparation, and you have to applaud that. Venice also followed up with her role and linked into the intro with the theme, and that takes preparation. We know Venice isn't with us now, but she might pick this up on the video. Congratulations to Venice. Mike, he uttered his first words in the club. That was always a pleasure to see. Moving on to the table topics. What did I love about that? What wasn't there to love about Lynn's table topics? She took control of us. We knew we had to sit up straight and be ready for what was about to be a fantastic table topics session. As Vicky already said, the best she'd seen. It was 20 minutes. It was probably one of the longest sessions, maybe 22. but you inspired people to deliver mini speeches. They didn't want to stop talking. Your questions were so good. So many of those table topics could have been 5-minute speeches or icebreakers. So congratulations to Lynn. Let's take ourselves off mute. Give her a round of applause. Well done, Lynn, on hitting the stage with your interesting table topic session. Kristin, your first evaluation as a speaker here at MoE. Another round of applause. And how good was it, guys? We're raising the bar every time with all these new speakers. So congratulations to Kirstin's first evaluation. These are all the points I love about the meeting. But look, hey, we're not that good. How can we improve? What can we do better? What are we missing? What are we lacking? Well, there's a few little things I noticed tonight. And number one, and John will love this, John White will love this, when somebody uses the word of the day, we do the finger snaps. And I only saw me and John doing it. Yes, you may laugh, Trudy, but I want to see your fingers snapping. Right? So if you hear reverberate, finger snapping. Same applies for clapping. When someone gets up on stage to speak, let's do those virtual claps, which is a hand wave like that, or take yourself off the mic and clap, whichever way. But it encourages that speaker and gives them enthusiasm and positivity to hit the stage in the right frame of mind. What else can we improve on? Hey, we only had one speech. What's going on? We're a 3-speech club, if not 2 at the least. One speech is not enough. But that's one evaluation. And we're masters of evaluation. So we need to practice it at least 3 times.
I'm the guilty one.
Let's get those speeches signed up. Let's get those roles taken. And I can see John just throwing it all away there on the screen. So what else were we missing? What else could we improve on? I think we had 3 or maybe 4 cameras off screen tonight. Why can't we get all the cameras on? What is that all about? If a guest sees this on our YouTube channel, they see 3 cameras off, it doesn't look great. So guys, I know some people could be driving, you could be in a situation, you might have the dog attacking your ankles, somebody might be pulling you to get your dinner done, but try and get your cameras on because it just adds for the community and the feeling that you're involved. So all in all, to summarize, we had a great evening. And from my perspective, being a general evaluator, it doesn't always have to be about what we did wrong. Being an evaluator, you can always use suggestions for improvement. It doesn't always have to be a correction. And that works just as well. So I encourage you to step up, take a role, do it early for Vicky, help her out, and let's keep up the positive reverberations and help them ripple throughout the club. Back to you, Vicky.
Thank you so much, Ray. You brought so much value in that evaluation because it is a good meeting. And yet, there are always ways we can make it better, and you really highlighted that, so thank you very much. Now, we have a guest that I know came in late, Maureen, but I don't know when you came in, except when you said I'm in. Welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, it's my second visit. I'm in Christchurch, New Zealand, meaning it's about 5 o'clock in the morning now, or nearly 6 o'clock in the morning, and I slept in. I did have the alarms on, but I overslept this morning. I was looking forward to coming and seeing you again.
Well, join us again, Maureen. Sorry you slept late, but good on you for showing up. We do have a recording of this. Do we have your email? Did you sign up through the guest?
I think I did last time. Yes, I did.
All right.
Even this time.
So I'll make sure that I send you the recording and you can watch it. I think you'll really enjoy it, and at a more decent hour than 5 a.m.
Yep.
Thank you.
I was in hospital. I just thought, I'm coming again. I enjoyed it last time. And of course,
In the
what
hospital.
I did was...
All right, let's hear it for Maureen. Everybody, off mute. Give her a round of applause. Maureen, we hope you're feeling better and you're out of hospital soon. Thank you for attending today. All right. Now, I Thank you. Now I would like to fill the roles. As Ray mentioned, we love you as a member of this club, and we need you to sign up to renew. If you haven't done it, go to toastmasters.org and click on enable. You're all enabled to self-pay. Click on self-pay, click Masters of Evaluation, and we sincerely hope you join us again for another 6 months. This meeting today was excellent. If you don't know what an evaluation looked like before the meeting, you know what it looks like after. And you got so many evaluations. And thanks to Sandra for suggesting the SNAP evaluations maybe over a year ago. How powerful were they to give feedback on all those mini speeches? And with that, is there anything else for the good of the order before I close the meeting? All right, my friends, we are adjourned at 10:32. Close, so close. Thank you all. Maureen, we look forward to seeing you again. Feel better soon.
Will do.
All right. And
What a great meeting.
with that, I'm going to close the meeting. So goodbye, everyone.